There are 50-metre sand dunes in Japan. They stretch for 16 kilometres along the Sea of Japan coast in Tottori Prefecture. They rise from sea level to the height of a 15-storey building, and they've been there for over 100,000 years. Tottori is also the least visited prefecture in the country by foreign tourists. Japan receives a lot of tourists every single year, and the majority of them see the same half dozen places. Meanwhile, 7 of Japan's 47 prefectures receive fewer than 100,000 foreign visitors each year, and they're not overlooked because they're obscure, but because the version of Japan most tourists encounter is only a fraction of what's actually there. Tottori is where we're going to start, if only because it challenges everything you think you know about Japan before you've even arrived. The sand dunes sit just outside the city, part of the Sanin-Kaigan UNESCO Global Geopark, formed over millennia from sediment carried down from the Chugaku Mountains by the Sendai River and pushed back onto the coast by sea currents and wind. The landscape shifts every day. Patterns called fumon, wind ripples in the sand, form and vanish overnight. Bowl-shaped depressions up to 40 metres deep open in the surface and close again. The dunes cover 30 square kilometres. Standing at the top of the ridge known as Umanose, with the Sea of Japan behind you and sand stretching in every direction, the thought that you're still in Japan requires a moment to settle. About 100 kilometres east along the same coastline is Shimane Prefecture, which received only 55,000 foreign visitors back in 2024. That figure is difficult to explain when you understand what Shimane actually contains. Izumo Taisha, in the west of the prefecture, is one of the oldest shrines in Japan. The earliest written records of its existence appear in chronicles compiled from the early 700s, meaning it's been a place of worship for at least 1300 years. The main hall standing today was constructed in 1744 and is registered as a national treasure. The shrine is dedicated to Okuninushi no Mikoto, the god of relationships and nation building, and according to Japanese mythology, it's the place where all 8 million gods of Japan convene every October to discuss matters of fate, particularly who will marry whom. Everywhere else in Japan, October is called Kanazuki, the month without gods. In Shimane alone, it's called Kamairizuki, a month when the gods are present. The centre lane of the pine-lined approach to the shrine is left clear. It's reserved for the deities. Visitors use the sides. Inland from the Sea of Japan coast, pressed up against the Fukui Mountains, is a gleaming silver dome that contains one of the world's leading dinosaur museums. Fukui Prefecture is Japan's dinosaur capital. Around 80% of all dinosaur fossils ever discovered in Japan have been excavated within this single prefecture, specifically from the Kitadani Formation in Katsuyama City, where conditions during the Lower Cretaceous period were ideal for fossilization. The Fukui Prefectural Dinosaur Museum, which reopened with expanded facilities in July 2023, houses more than 40 complete dinosaur skeletons, 10 of which are original fossil material. Among them are species found nowhere else on Earth. Now inside the dome, a 3/4 scale Tyrannosaurus robot greets you at the entrance. There are children's activity areas, fossil preparation labs visible through glass, and a reconstruction of a Jurassic period landscape covering nearly 200 square metres. The museum alone draws over 1 million visitors each year, most of them Japanese. Down on the island of Shikoku, Kochi Prefecture holds a river that has earned a specific nickname, Japan's last clear stream. The Shimanto River runs for 196 kilometres from the mountains of Kochi to the Pacific Ocean, and what distinguishes it from almost every other major river in Japan is the absence of large dams on its main channel. Most Japanese rivers were dammed extensively during the post-war construction era. The Shimanto wasn't, largely because its winding path through the mountains made construction impractical. NHK used the phrase "last clear stream" in a 1983 documentary, and it stayed. In 1994, the river's official name was formally changed from Watari River to the Shimanto River under the River Act, the first time in Japanese history that a major river had been renamed this way. Along the banks, you'll find submersible bridges with no handrails designed to sink beneath the water rather than break during floods. Kochi Prefecture designated them as living cultural heritage in 1993, and the oldest surviving example dates to 1935. In total, the river has 47 of them. Next, we have Miyazaki Prefecture on the southeastern coast of Kyushu. At its northern edge, in the mountains above the coast, sits Takachiho Gorge, a canyon carved by the Kokase River through basalt laid down by pyroclastic flows from Mount Zao, roughly 100,000 years ago. The walls average 80 metres high along a 7-kilometre stretch, and the columnar rock formations were shaped as the lava cooled. You can walk the path along the rim or hire a rowing boat and take it beneath the walls, passing directly under the 70-metre Manai Falls. The Kojiki, Japan's oldest chronicle compiled in 712, places the cave of the sun goddess Amaterasu in this region. She retreated here after her brother's rampage, pulling light from the world, and 8 million gods gathered outside the cave to coax her back out. At Takachiho Shrine in the town centre, a shortened version of the sacred Kagura dance is performed every night of the year. 4 acts drawn from a 33-act cycle that tells the story of Amaterasu and the origin of Japan. There are usually more locals in the audience than tourists. Now we head north into Tohoku and we go to Akita Prefecture and the town of Kakunodate, which has looked much the same since its founding in 1620. The samurai district in its northern quarter has survived 4 centuries largely intact. Wide streets bordered by charcoal-coloured wooden fences lead past samurai residences from the 17th and 18th centuries, 6 of which are open to visitors. The weeping cherry trees that line these streets trace back to 3 saplings bought from Kyoto in 1662, carried by a lord's bride returning from the ancient capital. Those 3 trees are the parent of every weeping cherry in Kakunodate today. There are roughly 400 in the town, and 162 of them are designated National Natural Monuments of Japan. In spring, they overhang the black fences in curtains of pale pink. In winter, the same branches carry snow, with the streets nearly empty and the town feels exactly as it was. Now, the final place we'll mention requires a specific window, late January through early March, and a willingness to take a ropeway to altitude in temperatures that can drop to minus 15 degrees Celsius. On the slopes of Mount Zao, straddling the border between Yamagata and Miyagi prefectures, a natural phenomenon called juhyo forms each winter. Juhyo means tree ice. Now, the conditions required are very precise. Almari fir trees, sustained sub-zero temperatures, moisture-laden Siberian winds from the Sea of Japan, and supercooled water droplets in the air freezing onto every surface they contact. Given the right conditions, the ice accumulates for weeks. The trees become shapes that bear no resemblance to trees, their forms buried under formations that can reach 10 metres high. The Japanese call them snow monsters. From the ropeway above the slopes, looking down at row after row of these white shapes in the mountain fog, that name feels accurate. Night illuminations run through the season and the formations glow in colour against the dark. Like everything else on the list, juhyo exist only in a handful of places on Earth, and one of these places is Yamagata Prefecture. So all of these places are the most genuinely remarkable places in Japan by any honest measure, and the fact that they remain this quiet says nothing about their quality. It says something about how narrow the standard Japan itinerary has become. Back in Tottori, the wind keeps working. The patterns in the sand from this morning will be gone by this evening. The dunes that have been there for over 100,000 years, shifting continuously, visited by almost nobody from abroad. They'll continue with or without anyone coming to see them. And the same is true of everything else on this list.